Lately, we've heard a lot of stories about virtual online public schooling, thanks to COVID-19. The stories are terrible. Smart students failing classes from a distance, high absentee rates, record numbers of truancy, kids with anxiety, depression, suicides, other mental illnesses, even parents abusing their kids at home. Don't get me wrong here. All of this is truly terrible. But the left, as usual, is hijacking a bad situation to push their pre-existing political agenda. This is what I mean. Virtual public schooling is not homeschooling. Don't let the left conflate terrible online virtual public schools with actual homeschooling. I was actually homeschooled. I know from a firsthand perspective. Thanks to homeschooling, I also know how to think for myself and research the facts. So here are the facts about actual homeschooling. Number 1, homeschooled students are more successful academically than public school students. Studies prove this. One of the studies was conducted by Dr. Brian Ray, president of the National Home Education Research Institute. Dr. Ray analyzed data from 15 independent testing services of 11,739 homeschooled students from all 50 states. Dr. Ray tracked the academic achievement of students on a series of standardized tests. He found that the national average score for homeschooled students is in the 86th percentile, while the national average for public school students is in the 50th percentile. Number 2, homeschooled students are socialized more diversely than public school students. Yep, you heard that right. The famous "homeschool is fine, but I worry about the socialization" line is a nothing burger. A researcher named Lee Stowe, in his thesis, Social and Emotional Status of Homeschooled Children and Conventionally Schooled Children in West Virginia, contends that children who were homeschooled, and this is a quote, gained the necessary skills, knowledge, and attitudes to function in society at a rate similar to that of conventionally schooled children. Stowe also argues that, and this is a quote, insofar as self-concept is a reflector of socialization, it would appear that few homeschooled children are socially deprived, and that there may be sufficient evidence to indicate that some homeschooled children have a higher self-concept than that of conventionally schooled children, end quote. Number 3, homeschooled students are abused less. According to Dr. Brian Ray in his study, Child Abuse of Public School, Private School, and Homeschool Students, Evidence, Philosophy, and Reason, he says, and I quote, an estimated 10% or more of public and private school children experience sexual maltreatment at the hands of school personnel, and in addition, some school children are abused by their parents. The limited evidence available shows that homeschooled children are abused at a lower rate than are those in the general public, and no evidence shows that home-educated are at any higher risk of abuse, end quote. Number 4, previously homeschooled students are more successful as adults than their public school peers. Dr. Isabel Lyman, a homeschool researcher and advocate, compared the adult lives of homeschooled students versus public school students. This is what she found, and I quote, I have found no evidence that these adults were even moderately disadvantaged. 2/3 of them were married, the norm for adults their age, and none were unemployed or on any form of welfare assistance, end quote. In addition, a study conducted by Michael Kogan, director of the Office of Institutional Research and Analysis at the University of St. Thomas in Minnesota, found that 66.7% of students who had previously been homeschooled graduated after 4 years, while only 58.6% of students who had previously attended public school graduated after 4 years. In other words, for children, diverse interaction is higher when the children are homeschooled, self-concept and leadership higher, and test scores superior. For adults who were homeschooled as children, the percentages of marriages is equal, and the percentage of college attendance is equal, yet retention and graduation are higher, and the overall rate of abuse is lower. This is critically important because these are the 4 arguments leftists use in their effort to ban homeschooling entirely. This is not hyperbolic. This is the reason leftists are pretending that online virtual Zoom public school is the same as real homeschooling. Because leftists want the dreadful outcomes from Zoom public school to help them take down homeschooling. Again, this is not hyperbolic when I say the left wants to prohibit homeschooling. Harvard scheduled a conference last summer with the express purpose of advocating for homeschooling to be completely banned, and their premise was based on lies. They claimed homeschooled students were abused at a higher rate than public and privately schooled students, which not only is false if you look at the statistics, Harvard professors tried to redefine the word abuse to make it abusive if you deny your child a public school experience. The state of California, likewise, tried to impose impossible standards on homeschooling that even private schools aren't required to follow in the state, like credentialed teachers and surprise home visits and state-mandated curriculums. Because they want to force kids to attend public schools, because they want to indoctrinate kids in radical sex ed, political correctness, revisionist history, critical race theory, Marxism, and anti-Christian, sometimes anti-American propaganda, so that kids grow up to be docile little socialists, just like the left wants. So there you have it. This data should put to rest the false idea that distance learning via Zoom is homeschooling. It's not. It's public school classroom management gone bad. If anything, it should teach us how much time is wasted in public schools and how valuable one-on-one instruction is.